Welcome to Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, the captivating travel podcast that takes you on an extraordinary adventure around the world. I'm your host, Jill Dutton, and I am thrilled to be your guide through the mesmerizing tapestry of cultures, landscapes, and experiences that await us. Global Journeys with Jill Dutton is more than just a travel podcast. It's an exploration of humanity itself. Through the power of storytelling, we illuminate the lives of the remarkable individuals we encounter along the way. Whether it's through the eyes of a fishing guide, a distillery owner, a mixologist, a historian, chef, or even a farmer, each person we meet adds a rich layer to the narrative of culture and place. In this podcast, we embark on a transformative journey where the focus goes beyond the typical tourist attractions. Instead, we dive deep into the hearts and souls of the places we visit, uncovering the hidden gems and untold stories that make each destination truly unique. Join me as we venture off the beaten path, seeking authenticity, connection, and a deeper understanding of the world we inhabit. Together, we'll unravel the tapestry of cultures, one story at a time. Although my writing career began in the late 90s when I created and launched a wellness publication called Evolving Magazine, since 2015 I've worked as a travel writer on a mission to seek out the locally celebrated foods, liquor trends, outdoor activities, and stories of those I meet along the way. My work has been published in Wine Enthusiast, Afar, Woman's World, First for Women, Insider, Road Trippers, Modern Farmer, Chilled Magazine, and many more digital and print publications. I'm also the creator of Global Plates, The People We Meet, The Food They Eat, a syndicated column. Creating this podcast is the next step in my journey of sharing the stories of the people I've met along the way. So pack your curiosity, leave your preconceived notions behind, and let's embark on Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, where each episode promises to inspire, educate, and awaken the wanderlust within us all. Today's episode of Global Journeys with Jill Dutton takes you to the vibrant city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, where the Tennessee River winds its way through a landscape painted with both natural beauty and artistic inspiration. But before we dive into the artistic wonders of Chattanooga, let me take you back to a serendipitous encounter at the local farmers market. I visited Chattanooga in the spring, and since farmers markets are a passion for me, it was a perfect time to visit for their strawberry festival at the Chattanooga Market. As I strolled through the market, captivated by the aromas of fresh produce and baked goods, the ripe and luscious strawberries we ate as we strolled, and the lively chatter of locals, my eyes were drawn to a booth adorned with captivating paintings. There, I met Azike. I was able to purchase a couple of his paintings to carefully take home with me to Kansas City. Today, we're not only exploring Chattanooga and getting an insider's look at the destination, but also getting up close and personal with this talented artist. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Azike to Global Journeys with Jill Dutton. AJ, thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights on your art as well as Chattanooga as a destination.
Hey, absolutely. It's a tremendous pleasure. I'm grateful to be here with you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. Well, first, I'm going to ask some quick questions about Chattanooga before we dive into your artwork. The questions are designed to give the listener a quick insider's look at the destination, so maybe don't go over a couple sentence description for each one. Ready?
Okay. Sounds good. Perfect.
Okay. What do you believe makes Chattanooga a unique and appealing destination for travelers?
Well, all right. So a destination, all right, I'd say number one, would be the people. The
Mm-hmm.
people are very warm and welcoming because, anytime you travel somewhere, it's kind of a combination of, out the cuff. It's like the physical environment
Yeah.
paired with the people, right? And then the other things that come along with it are below, all the great food and all these kinds of things. But anytime I've traveled around, I'm a road tripper, so I love to drive, cross country,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always comes down to the physical environment and then the people, and then that just creates something so special here in Chattanooga as well as everywhere else. But in Chattanooga, I found that the people are warm, welcoming, and and they have positive outlook on things, and I think that also has something to do with the environment. The physical environment itself gives us that as well, you
I
know.
agree. I agree completely. Wonderful. Well, can you think of, so when people visit Chattanooga, they go to the Rock City and, some of the typical things that you might expect, but are there any hidden gems or local favorites maybe that visitors might not know about typically?
Yes, there's a number of these. Now, I'll give you my top three, maybe even my top five.
Oh, great.
But of course, there's always the Lookout Mountain and the visit Rock City, and then there's the all the hiking trails and things like that.
Yes, and
Now,
they're all wonderful. I just meant,
yeah, absolutely. They're tremendous. They're absolutely tremendous. And now what I do is, what I how I see Chattanooga is there's a few go-tos, of course, where we met, which was at the Chattanooga Market, right?
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
that. The
Yes.
Chattanooga Market's a great place where local vendors, artists, craftspeople, farmers, like it's a wonderful place. You really get to meet a wide range and a wide assortment of Chattanoogans at the market and
Yes.
interact with other Chattanoogans that are coming to, buy their produce. There's, get their arts, get their crafts, and then a lot of other, people that are traveling and stopping in. I think the Chattanooga Market's is phenomenal. It's the Saturday show at the aquarium and then the Sunday as well over at the pavilion. I'm gonna put that on my top five. The next
Mhm.
portion, I'll probably go with places that I like to grab a bite, right?
Yes.
Uh, Brewhouse is one of my favorite places. Brewhouse is right on the end of the walking bridge, the north side of the walking bridge, which spans the Tennessee River. I believe it's one of the longest walking bridges, pedestrian bridges in the country.
Hmm.
I almost want to say it's a 0.45 mile across. So it's just under half a mile across, I believe. Not totally sure. But the combination of that bridge, which
Hmm.
the bridge itself is the heart of Chattanooga to me. That's
I
just how
agree. Hmm.
I love it. It has a great energy. I love just being over the water in the morning, afternoon, the nighttime, and it spans both sides of Chattanooga. But anyhow, so on the back side of that, or on the north side of the bridge, there's a place called Brewhouse. Wonderful place. The owner's phenomenal. It's a German style restaurant kind of bar. Great view of the pedestrian bridge there, the Walnut Street Bridge, as well as the downtown area. I love
Hmm.
that place. Food is great, and I'm a huge fan of German beer. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, big
I th
time
I
fan. I
think when
love
we
it.
were there, we had dinner and then we walked across to get ice cream. And I don't remember the name of the
Yes.
place, but it was like two distinct different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting. So thank
Yeah.
you.
So you got the ice cream from the side where the museum is,
Um,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and then that's the south side. Then when you cross over, you have Stone Cup Coffee or Stone Cup Cafe, which is another one of those go-tos. It's right next door to Brewhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as I go, they pair and accompany exceptionally well. You get your coffee in the morning, then you go grab yourself a bite in the afternoon or evening and wash it down with some German wheat beer. And they both have great views, large patios, large decks on the back there. And then another place to eat. I like to eat. I didn't get this size overnight. It's it's Sugar's Ribs
I'm
right
going to
over there.
use that one. I'm going to use that one.
Yes, is Mission. I believe it's called Mission Ridge, East Ridge, Mission Ridge. It's great. It's really great. You get a exceptional view of Lookout Mountain, Signal Mountain, downtown Chattanooga, North Chattanooga as well, North Shore area, and it sits in a space right off the freeway, and the food's great.
Hmm.
Rib places what they're known for. They also have their own in-house sauces from the mild, medium, and call the paramedic hot.
That's great.
And but I'll say the number one thing though, I mean the food's great, everything's great, views great, is the service.
Hmm.
I love being of service to others. And so when you go somewhere and they just treat you like they love you,
Yes.
it's like I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna tell everybody I know. So
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I had to run it down real quick, I would say number one is going to be that bridge, in my opinion. Walnut
Excellent.
Street Bridge. Go for a walk across it, walk back, get that mile under your feet. Next place is going to be Stone Cup Cafe on the north side of the bridge on Fraser Avenue. Next door to that on Fraser Avenue is Brewhouse. Wonderful people, great
Mm-hmm.
people there.
Yes,
Got to go Chattanooga Market for number four, and number five, we're going to call it Sugar's Ribs. Great service, great food, phenomenal view.
excellent, excellent, wonderful. Thank you, AJ. And then
Yeah.
last question about Chattanooga and as it relates to art. So, did you move there in 2020? Is that what I saw?
So I started art as a business, as a creative as a business in 2020. So this is my third year. This
Okay.
October is my third year. However, I moved to Chattanooga 2 years ago, or yeah, about 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So for about 2021.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
I was
yeah. So
just
I've been
curious
here
then.
going on two.
So then, how would living there? How would you describe the art scene in Chattanooga? It's kind of a small city, but yet it seems
Yeah.
like the arts are very prominent and important. So I'm just kind of
Mhm.
curious what role you think it plays in the overall atmosphere.
I would say it plays a great role, and it seems like it wants more, as a city, as a city is kind of like a living entity to a certain degree, and it almost seems like it wants more.
Mm-hmm.
There's like murals that are popping up, and there are different events that are happening where they'll showcase artists, of course, like the Chattanooga Market, but also at different locations that we typically wouldn't even think about. I mean, breweries, distilleries, tap rooms, and there's even like the Jewish Community Center here has a gallery in it,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I've exhibited there before. And then there's so much of it, and it's not that it's not like a thorn in anybody's side or anything. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do this. Like it's open, like open to let's see what we can do.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the look at Chattanooga as a destination. Now let's dive
Yeah.
into your experiences. So, as we discussed, if you remember, I found you selling your artwork at the Chattanooga Farmers Market. I was there on a press trip and we had visited the market for the Strawberry Festival. And that is actually one of my passions is every city I visit, I must go to their farmers markets because
Oh, that's
just,
great.
I love sampling local food, and then also seeing the local artists as well. So
Yeah.
I was so impressed with the bounty of fresh produce, but also the wide variety. There was art and there was jewelry and there was, pottery and so many wonderful artistic items there. And that's when we discovered you. And so
Yeah.
I brought home two paintings with me. They hang in my living room. And so I get to enjoy them every day. And I just want to thank you for that because it's really, I think of Chattanooga, I think of you, I just everything when I see those paintings. So
That's
thank
great.
you.
I want to say thank you. I appreciate you so much. I mean, as far as the art goes and everything, like I mean, it's not like an easy thing to do. You
Right.
want to come up with things and come up with new ideas and come up with, just subjects that are entertaining and keep that vibration, high and everything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I tell you, what does it for me is being able to share with others and somebody sees something that they're like, what, I gotta have that. I mean, it just makes sense. Like, you feel like you did the right thing. You're like, oh yeah. And it's almost I don't want to sound too woo woo here, too out there, but it's like to me it gets so like spiritual in a way because
Mm-hmm.
like there'll be times when it becomes might be a little bit might be a little bit of ice skating uphill to get a few paintings done in a day, and then when somebody comes in and says that's perfect, that's
Yes.
exactly what I'm looking for, and it's like whoa, it's like that makes it all worth it.
Oh, I agree. And you do such a great job of, I don't even know the word for it, but introducing someone to your art and the way that you take a picture together with the piece
Yeah.
and it really connects the buyer to the artist.
No, no, no. Trust me, I know exactly what you
But
mean. Everyone
it
listening will
made it
too.
so intimate and getting to know you. And so I really was impressed with the way that you display your work as well as interact with the public. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not as important as your art, but it's such an
Thank
important
you.
part of the process, I
Thank you.
believe.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
maybe tell me a little bit about your painting process. How did you get started? What led you to this? Have you always
Yeah.
been artistic? Because I know I can't paint
Yes.
for my life. So,
I understand that. Well, everybody is in a certain way. Like there's creativity in everyone.
mhm,
And it doesn't always come out with paint and a brush on some canvas. It doesn't always come out that way.
right. Mine comes
It
out in
does.
words, with words.
Yes, exactly. Or whatever it may be. There's all types of wonderful ways to be creative. I mean, telling
Mm-hmm.
like being creative and teaching someone's children the importance of going to bed early,
Yes.
or
Or
eating good
cooking or
vegetables. You,
gardening or
yeah,
yes.
you got to be creative to do these things.
Mm-hmm. I
So it
agree.
comes out different. As far as how I started, I mean, I was literally born this way. I was
Wow.
born this way, and as a kid, that's pretty much all I wanted to do. To the degree of I would get in trouble at school sometimes.
Because you were
I'd be in
doodling.
math class drawing Snoopy, and they're just like, "Hey,
Uh,
hey, that's not what we're doing here, AJ." Oh, okay, all right.
oh, and
So I mean, that's I've always wanted to do that. I found that it's like it's soothing, but it's also problem solving, because the
mhm.
second that a person decides, hey, I want to create something, they've kind of put a problem in front of themselves, even if it's a blank sheet of paper. And they're like, well, okay, they put a problem there. So now it's time to solve it. And so as a
Yes.
kid, that was, that's what I did. I was one of the kids, and there was a term from, way back called the latchkey kids, right? Kids
Mm-hmm.
that kind of get themselves to and from school, cook their own breakfast or lunch or whatever, get home, lock the door, latch key, right?
Yes.
And so I was one of these kind of kids. And so I would, get home and draw pictures, and that's, I spent a lot of my day, is drawing pictures and looking out the window and kind of drawing what I saw. We lived on a very busy road, so I got a lot of practice.
Excellent. And then your paintings and what you're selling now. I mean, did this idea come to you? Didn't you say as a business you started in 2020 of selling your work?
Yes, yes, yeah. So as a business starting in 2020, but throughout this whole life, this whole journey that I've been on, I've done, made gifts for people, whether it's birthdays, Christmas presents, if I'm working somewhere, they're like, hey, can you make a mural for the shop or something? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure, let's do it. And then it was probably 2019-ish. And I really started thinking, I was like, well, what am I going to do? What do I want to do here? I had, worked in a few different fields, I was a real estate dude for a while. I was a teacher and martial arts instructor and did these things. And I was like, what do I really want to do? And ultimately it was, you got to be who you are in this world. And
Mm-hmm.
it took, it's kind of sounds strange, but I had to be courageous with myself to say, this is what I want to do going
Mm-hmm.
forward. And a lot of and what I mean by courageous is, that's not a job that a grown man does, really. Let me go paint pictures.
Oh,
And so
oh,
I had to be courageous enough to step to myself and say, don't worry about anything don't worry about the external look of it.
mm-hmm.
Do what you're supposed to do, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and I was like, well, okay, you just got to be who you are. And that's so important to me, is like, just be who you are. Like, because when I look at it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I stopped being who I was as a child to
Mm-hmm.
go and chase some money or chase some kind of respect or something, and it's like, no, just be who you are. You're how you're supposed to be. And I tell you, I feel the most fulfilled that I've ever felt in my life. Every day is I'm grateful to be able to do what I do.
I love it. That is a very powerful lesson because it's so true. It does take courage to pursue what you're meant to do, what you're here for. I met you at the market. Is that the primary place where you sell your work? Is that the Chattanooga Market?
Yeah, so right now that's primarily where you'll be able to find my work there. It's great. It's a tremendous opportunity. When I moved here, I didn't have a clue about the Chattanooga market. And I was actually selling online only. I was
Mm-hmm.
only selling online. And then when I moved here, I moved here because originally I was born in the mountains. And so I was like, wow, I get the mountains here, got a nice river, and so I was like,
Yes.
And then come to find out, I was like, well, people are like, hey, you should go maybe try to be a vendor at the Chattanooga Market. I said, okay, let me go check it out. And it's been phenomenal. It's been something else. It's really helped me and as an artist and has allowed me to be of service to others in a greater in a greater range.
Yes, yes.
And
And
you know,
like I said, that interaction that you offer is really makes it a fun, to find your
yeah,
art and learn about it and to purchase it from you. Do you have any fun or interesting stories about people that you have met at the market?
yes, I have plenty. I have a whole bunch. I'll give you a couple though.
Okay.
So here, going back to that kind of that spiritual kind of this kind of connection that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'll make something and then somebody will say, hey, that's perfect, or almost something along the lines of like, how did you know? And those
Right.
are the ones that always get me,
Mm-hmm.
like one time there was I made this painting. I remember the night I was making it. It was late night and I was really, I was real tired and I was like, let me get through it. Let me get this painting done and maybe another one and I'll get some sleep. And it was a man on the shore fishing, with like kind of like a landscape, semi-cityscape in the distance, far in the distance. And he
Mm-hmm.
just kind of sitting back, has this yellow hat on. And a girl comes up to me and was like, how did you know? My grandfather used to fish and he used to wear this yellow hat. I was like, what? What are
What?
you talking about? And it was just like stuff like that. It's like, whoa.
Oh, that is great.
And this one boy, this one little boy, he come walking over into the tent and he just kind of, he walks in, he stands there and he's staring at a painting. I'm like, hey, what's up, pal? How you doing? And then he's like, okay. He didn't really say a lot. And he just kind of staring at the wall. And I was like, man, what's going on here? And then his parents come in, or his guardians rather come in. And they just walk in and they kind of stop and they're real still. And I'm like, hey, well, you guys all right? Come on in. They kind of freaking me out. I'm like, you guys okay? What's going on? And
Uh-huh.
and the boy he will not adjust his vision. He just like stuck on this painting. And he goes walking over to it and he's looking up at it. I mean, little guy, probably 2.5 feet tall, just real
Mm-hmm.
young guy. And it was his guardians, maybe a family member, older brother, uncle, something like that, and his wife. And his guardian leans over to me and says, hey, his parents recently died. And I was like, what? He said, both of them, and I'm like, what? And he said that before they passed away, that his mother told him that every time you see a cardinal, I want you to think of me. And that's me thinking of you. And
Mm.
I had this painting of a cardinal that was there, and I have glasses on it. And so the young boy, he wore glasses too. And he
Oh.
and he was just like that, he just looked at it and he looked up at his guardian. It may have been like an older brother, maybe an older cousin, uncle, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, well, let's get that. And it was there's things like that are just, and then after that, so I started painting all my birds with glasses on them,
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, what a touching story.
let me tell you, there were other people in the tent too looking at artwork, and we all kind of like, oh, we all
uh,
kind of got choked up a little. We were just like, whoa, you know.
oh,
But I mean, there are things like that, and just like paintings that or people say, I mean, that's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I was
mm-hmm.
looking for. And of course, I keep my price points, exceptionally low compared to, a lot of other original art because I only do originals. I only
Mm-hmm.
do, and no prints, no reproductions. And a lot of that is I want people to be able to have access to original artwork because originals give off a different vibration, literally a different vibration, like
Yes.
atoms and things like that. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're they're built up, they're textured, and and I'm fired up when I make them. I get fired up and I really get the work in there. And so it's different. There's a different vibration than a print. And there's nothing wrong with prints. Nothing wrong with prints.
No,
Nothing wrong with
I agree with
reproduction.
you 100% though. I treasure the two that I bought from you. I really do. Well, I think that's perfect. And unless there's anything else that I forgot to ask you, but how can listeners find you? Is it Instagram?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, Instagram is number one for me.
And
So
what's the address?
it's AJAZIKE.
Okay. And
AJ Zeke on Facebook, Instagram, and then my website, ajzike.com.
okay.
Uh, my website doesn't get all the attention that it used to get, because now I sell a lot more at the
In
market
person, yes.
than the website. But the website has a few items there, and then I'll be doing a little bit more on there, because I do like the website. That's how I started, and I have a whole shipping doctrine that I set up, and I put a lot of work into it. So
Oh,
all
excellent.
these
And
boxes and
I'll
bubble
include
wrap everywhere.
I'll include links in the show notes as well. But
Okay.
that just made me think to ask, is the Chattanooga market open year round? Are
No,
you
it's not. So they're pretty much March, April, and then roll through December. So December is the Chattanooga Market's like its premier kind of show, where it's
mm,
the first 3 weekends in December. So it's like Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's at the convention center versus being at the pavilion.
okay?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great showcase of a lot of the wonderful talent that we have here locally in Chattanooga.
I agree. And that gives you January, February, March to really produce and get caught back and
That's
restock.
right. Catch my breath for a little bit, you know.
Well, AJ, thank you so much. I loved hearing your story, and I'm so pleased that you were here today. So thank you.
Hey, Jill, thank you. I really appreciate it. And to all the listeners out there, I appreciate y'all as well. And make it a great day. Make it a great day, because you have the power to do so.
Excellent. Thank you. You too. As we travel on this exciting podcasting journey together, I invite you, our incredible audience, to be a part of it. Share your own travel stories, insights, and recommendations with us. Whether you have a hidden gem in your hometown or a dream destination that has captured your imagination, we want to hear from you. Your suggestions will help shape the future episodes of Global Journeys with Jill Dutton, guiding us towards extraordinary locations and experiences that deserve a spotlight. Remember, this podcast is not about just the host or the guests. It's about the collective exploration and discovery that unites us all as wanderers in this vast world. So reach out to us through our website, social media channels, or email and let your voice be heard. Send your suggestions to me at jill@globaljourneyswithjilldutton.com. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, may your travels be filled with endless curiosity, open-hearted encounters, and transformative adventures. Safe travels, fellow explorers, and keep wandering.